Live from Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's 3 Wide TV. I'm Johnny Thomas, alongside my good buddy Richard Lafferty. Richard, how you doing, man?
All right, man. Just try to hopefully we'll see some good racing tonight. A little day action at Charlotte, where it's a little slicker, and hopefully these guys can keep it going the same right direction.
This is a cool thing for 3 Wide Racing. It's something I've never really experienced, something that you've never experienced. Being behind the booth, we're always on the track, and mentioned something about having a driver developmental series come up. We said we'll broadcast it, and that's how we're doing it right now. This is the 3 Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series. It's pretty much for guys that want to have a shot at the Truck Series and the Cup Series. But there's also guys in here that have a lot of experience in 3 Wide Racing. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a really fun time. We got a couple other people that does a lot of work here. Carlos Acosta is the man behind the controls. He pretty much does everything. So if you want to thank somebody, if you like this broadcast, if you want to thank somebody, thank him. And also we'll have Kyle Hanshaw down in the track, something that we're really excited about. He'll be the in-race broadcaster. So we'll be able to go to him whenever we feel like it, whether it'll be under green, under caution, after the race, before the race, whatever. But now this is just pretty much a practice race. It doesn't count for points. The real race is Sunday. And as I can see the leaderboard right now during practice, it's Luis Samosa and Richard. Luis has got to be one of the favorites for the
when he got to race with us during the regular season.
Well, this is being the first practice race. We're having technical difficulties, but Richard seems to have lost his volume for his microphone. But Luis was fast last year during the Cup Series and also the Xfinity Series races. So he's going to carry a lot of momentum into this series. Some other guys that should be fast. I can see on the leaderboard fast as Charlotte. Todd Smith, a rookie who I really have no knowledge about. And third place is Mike Stevens, as I talked about earlier, one of the veterans. Mike has over 100 3-wide racing starts. Richard, do you have your volume back?
I don't know, Johnny. How do you hear me now?
I hear you good. Does Carlos hear you?
All right. As you're talking about Luis, he was pretty good all season. We know Mike can find some speed during practice. And like you said, there's a lot of guys here that have shown a lot of ability level over this last season and seasons before now. Got some guys showing back up, like Skyler and Levi, who raced a little bit this year and now is back. So there's definitely a lot of talent that's going to be in this series. It's definitely not just a lower rookie series.
As you talk about Luis, a cool thing that we're going to do, we want to interview everybody. There's 35 guys that registered for this series. So we're going to try to interview as many people as we can, but Luis is quickest. Shall we interview him, Richard? Bring him up. Luis, you got a copy?
Got a copy.
Hey man, it's Johnny Thomas at the 3 Wide TV broadcast booth. Quickest in practice so far. How's the track?
Loose, warm, and very loose. So they really put us. They're gonna put us through some hoops here tonight. It's very, very tricky conditions.
Would you rather have the track loose, or would you rather have it a little bit tighter?
I don't mind a loose track with a tighter setup. That to me is kind of how it matches my driving style a little bit better. But right here, it's we're getting loose kind of everywhere, so it's going to be tricky. Like being able to control the car into the turn and not sliding up with a very warm track.
Are you loose off the corners?
Yeah. Starting to. After a couple laps, the tires are going away fast because of the temperature. So, and we're pushing tight in the middle, so the exit's not helping. We have the front end going high, then the back end coming loose at the exit.
Well, hopefully you stay out of trouble tonight, man. And this is just a practice race. Sunday's the big show, so good luck today and good luck.
Thank
Sunday
you,
night.
guys. Thanks for the broadcast. Cannot wait to come back and watch the show we put up tonight. Have a good one.
Thanks, Luis. That was Luis Samosa. Luis has got to be, like we mentioned earlier, got to be one of the favorites. Richard, there's only probably around 18 guys out of the 35 in this practice race. Is anybody else that you'd like to keep an eye on?
I mean, you got to, of course, look at everybody that's at the top of the speed charts right now. A couple guys you mentioned. The couple guys I mentioned earlier will be pretty fast. And then we got some new guys showing up. One of our broadcaster buddies has been doing a little racing. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of guys. You got Richard Hines. He'll be here. He's always kind of hanging around 6th, 7th, 8th every week. He's Mr. Consistent. So, like I said, there's a lot of talent here. It should make for some really good racing.
I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for Richard Hines to grab a victory. He's been racing in this series for a long time now and hasn't got a victory yet. And I know this is being the driver developmental series, being a preseason type of series. It might not be as important, but it's got to be special to get a win no matter what series.
Yeah, we definitely know that from experience. This is turned into a league that's very hard to get a win in, no matter where you are. So, if you get a chance, you better try to make the most of it.
Well, we got about 3 minutes before qualifying starts, as we see the 60 car of Jared Dixon. Sorry, some of these guys are brand new to us. We don't recognize some of the names here. Some guys that I'll go through the list that are new to 3-Wide Racing: Jared Dixon, James Duke, Gary Weaver, Todd Smith, Josh Personet. Hopefully I didn't screw that name up. Those are the 6 or 7 guys that are brand new to this league that are racing the practice race today. Right now we got the 07 of Gary Weaver. And I think Gary was in the TeamSpeak. And his mic's muted. We're going to give Gary an interview, but mic's muted. We should talk to one of these guys that haven't been to 3-Wide at all.
We could try to get Todd Smith up here. He's second in practice. Maybe we get him up here.
Yeah, Richard, you want to send him up? Todd, you got a copy?
Careful.
Todd is Johnny Thomas, 3-Wide TV booth. Man, thanks for joining 3-Wide. Hopefully you have a good time in this 6-race little mini season. What made you join?
I got a bunch of friends that was telling me about it, and I told them if there was room, I wouldn't mind, jumping on, trying it out. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so maybe this series will be as good as the rest.
Well, you're pretty fast in practice already, second quick. Luis Samosa, we brought him up, and he said the track is a little bit loose. Are you feeling the same condition?
Yeah. It's off 2 and 4.
All right, Todd. Well, good luck Sunday. Good luck tonight, and good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully, we'll see you in victory lane.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hopefully we didn't put Todd in the wrong channel, because I don't know what team he's on.
I think he was on a PPG team. I think that's where I moved him out of. But either way, he'll figure out where he's supposed to go.
I put him back. We can see Drew Eisenman on the track right now. Trey Landry, and you talked about Trey earlier. A couple minutes ago, Richard. Trey was our broadcaster last year for OCR TV. And OCR TV, we can't give them enough credit. They were great last year, broadcasting over 60 of our races. Trey's going to be, right now he's 10th in practice, and he'll be running the full schedule of the DD series.
Yeah, Trey looks pretty good so far. I don't really know where he'd ranks when it comes to iRating or anything like that. We haven't seen him drive very often, so we'll see how he goes. But we know he does a real good job broadcasting. We'll switch roles and see how everybody can do.
At the end of the season, we'll have to give ourselves grades. We'll grade Trey and Thomas on racing, and they can grade us on broadcasting. As practice is just about ready to end, as the guys will get ready to qualify. It'll be a 2-lap qualifying session, single car.
These guys are definitely throwing up some good lap times around here. I think hopefully this loose track will make for some good racing over the long run. It'll definitely make saving that right rear tire a big deal.
It seems like in the real life world, the NASCAR world, people love to come to Charlotte when it's hot and slick. I think it puts on a better show. Does it put on a better show in the iRacing world?
You know, it seems like when you come here in the B car or the trucks or the ARCA cars, whatever they call them now in iRacing, it just turns into kind of tire management. That blend between tire management and tire fall off and trying to go as fast as you can without burning them up. So I think when it's looser, it's a little bit more driver dependent. Just makes you have to drive the car a little more.
So what you're saying is you're going to use Larry McGrennell's quote of comers and goers?
I definitely could see some comers and goers. And people get a little too loose, they'll be coming, going, and gone.
Right now, Mike Stevens is on the track for his qualifying lap. Let's see what he puts down. So far, Mike out of 1 out of 2 cars, second car to go, top of the board, but Rusty Webb right now quickest at a 30.62.
And we talked about a lot of guys earlier about coming and improving over last season, like Richard Hines. Rusty Webb has made some strides that everybody that's been around for a couple seasons. You could tell he was putting some time in towards the end of last year. He started running 6th, 7th every week and keeping himself out of trouble and running pretty well. So we'll see if he can keep that going.
The last half of the year, or the beginning half of the year, Rusty was in the back. You could say it. He was in the back, but as the later half of the year started to roll around, he climbed in the top 10 and was actually racing for top 5s. That's a guy that you got to keep your eye on, I think, in the Truck Series and also in the Cup Series to grab a top 5 and maybe even sneak in there and get a win. As Brandon LaRue all over the track gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 2. We talked to Luis, and he's done with his qualifying lap. So here's Trey Landry working on his first lap. As Wade Lear jumps to the top of the charts. No bias here, but Wade belongs to he's a car of my team, Johnny Thomas Racing, so I'm not allowed to be biased in the broadcast booth, but I'll try not to be like Jeff Gordon.
It's not biased to say he races for Johnny Thomas Racing.
It's not. People probably don't even know that I am Johnny Thomas up in the booth. Thomas Morris actually beats the JTR car of Wade Lear. He's quickest now. We'll have to interview the pole sitter, whoever it may be.
Yeah, Thomas Morris, that's a pretty nice lap right there.
30.58. Second is Wade Lear at a 30.61, so the times are close. But like what you said, I'm sure the grip level is pretty high the first 2 laps, right?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, Charlotte, anybody that's been iRacing for any period of time has made hundreds and thousands of laps at Charlotte. You're never really surprised on what you get at Charlotte, so not going to be a lot of variance in what happens between qualifying lap and qualifying lap here.
That's another cool thing about the DD Series is there's 6 races, but it's 6 tracks that the common iRacer goes to. And so you'll get a feel of the guys with these 6 tracks. If you can't handle these 6 tracks, you got problems. But this will be fun. As we see Hanshaw, and I think he tapped the wall coming out of 2. He's the last one to go. We'll talk to Hanshaw a little bit after he's done with his qualifying lap. Actually, we'll talk to him right now after this lap. Hanshaw, you got a copy?
Look like Hanshaw's still white knuckling it around there.
What was the first lap for Kyle? He was 14th on his first lap. And the man who we talked to earlier, Todd Smith, looking like he's going to get the pole for today's practice race.
Todd Smith had a good lap during practice. Like he's up to be later.
Hanshaw didn't improve on his second lap, 31.12. See if we can get Hanshaw's word. Hanshaw, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, Hanshaw is our in-race broadcaster. Qualifying, is the track still loose?
Yeah, very loose. I think this hot weather and just the track temp just make it for some really loose conditions. But it should be fun to drive. Got to manage the tires today, that's for sure.
Excited to be in-race broadcaster?
Yeah, it's something new to me. Hope the audience and folks that are watching at home enjoy it.
I think it's something new to everybody. I don't think anybody's ever had an in-race broadcaster that can just talk whenever they want to as the race is going on. I thought about it after watching a YouTube video of Tim Richmond getting interviewed at North Wilkesboro, I think, or maybe the old Richmond Fairgrounds. He got interviewed under caution, and they came to the green and he was still talking to Biddy Parsons. And I was like, that'd be really cool if they ever did it today in real life, but we can do it in iRacing because there's nothing to lose. So Hanshaw will probably radio you in during the green flag.
Sounds good, guys. Looking forward to it.
All right, see you in a bit. As our main man Carlos said, qualifying was over, but there's still cars on the track, Carlos. Josh Personet, a rookie in 3 wide, qualified 13th as Todd Smith is on the front row. We interviewed Todd earlier. Let's bring on Thomas Morris, the ex-broadcaster. Thomas, you got a copy?
Hello, Governor.
Hey, Thomas. I don't know if you're listening to the stream. I don't know if you could rate us already, but you put down a pretty good lap, 2nd place.
Yeah, I'm assuming the track cools down between the end of practice and qualifying because I could barely hit an 8 in practice. So just one of those lucky things where I didn't hit the apron and I didn't overdrive 3 and 4 for once. And I was just surprised that was that good. I told Trey when I came across the line, I said, this is probably not even going to be in the 30s.
It's got to be a confidence booster heading into Sunday. I don't know what your confidence level was heading into this practice, but being second place right now, I'm sure the track's going to change a lot, being how hot it is out there. But you can't be mad with second.
No, we'll take it in definitely the best track position you can get. Cameron went to the top there, but just good to start up front. Maybe figure out what's going to happen with this car and see what we can learn for Sunday. Because definitely, just in that 30-minute practice, you could tell the track definitely lost a lot of grip there. So something we'll look forward to tonight.
All right, man. Good luck tonight and good luck Sunday. Have a good one, man.
Appreciate it, boys.
And
That's our boy. Thomas Morris. It's weird hearing his voice on the other end. Sounds like that interview was done backwards.
Richard, can you kick Thomas? I don't know what channel he's in.
Here, I can move myself. Hang on.
Thank you, Thomas.
Also, another cool thing we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be playing the national anthem. So, if Carlos has that ready to go, we can play it right now. Ariana Grande singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed
So Tafoya, time to take those earplugs out. It's all yours.
All right, guys, and we are back live at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 3-Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series. As the guys are getting ready to kick off with their one pace lap, how about we do the lineup? Starting first, this is going to be all messed up because Cameron Rich posted a qualifying lap, but really, he cannot race in this race, but that's all right. Todd Smith is the pole sitter, and Thomas Morris starts second.
I can't see it right now, Johnny.
Well, Richard cannot see the leaderboard right now, but Wade Leard third, Luis Samosa fourth, and Rusty Webb winds out the top five. Trey Landry sixth, Chad Brown seventh, Mike Stephen rolls off eighth, and Drew Eisenman ninth. Gary Weaver rounds out your top 10. James Duke starts 11th, followed by Jared Dixon, Josh Persnet, and Brandon LaRue. Starting 15th is Jordan Teal, and winding out the field is our in-race broadcaster, Kyle Hinch.
Kyle, impressive in qualifying as always.
He laid down a blistering lap. As the cars roll out of turn 2, coming into turn 3, Todd Smith, the rookie in 3-Wide Racing, is going to lead the field to the green. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of Todd Smith come these 6 races in the DD Series, Richard.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how Todd Smith does as this series rolls on, and all these guys.
You know, I think there was a wreck before the... There was a crash before the green flag. It was Mike Stevens. Pace car in, and we're going green. Mike Stevens is laid up in turns 3 and 4. Todd Smith leads it to the green. I don't know what happened there. And Stevens is in the pits. He's probably done. We'll have to get a word with Mike, see what happened.
That was crazy. Hopefully we get a replay look at that here in a moment. But yeah, obviously somebody being a little not very patient there at the beginning.
Still Todd Smith with Thomas Morris. Luis Samosa started 4th, but he's up to 3rd right now. Lap 1 completed on lap 2. We've got a nice little battle here with Rusty Webb and the 07 of Gary Weaver, the newcomer. Wade Lear's off the pace. We got guys going out left and right, Richard, and we're only on lap 2. Wade Lear's got rear end damage.
Yeah, Mike Stevens just said in the chat that apparently his wheel died. We already covered that.
Gary Weaver has front end damage. And I tell you what, I know this is just a practice race, but it's got to be frustrating for the guys that they can't even roll off before the green flag hits. Riding along with the 40 car. 40 car is driven by Trey Landry, 64 Chad Brown, and the 21 of Drew Eisenman. Eisenman underneath the 64 for Chad Brown. Richard, what lap does the tire start really wearing off on you?
You know, you don't get to race it very much when it's like this, so I don't really know. You know, usually 25 laps is when you really start feeling it, when the setup's tight. When it's loose like this, I think if you drive it harder, it could be earlier. I feel like the car's just going to get looser and looser as it loses weight in the rear end, and that right rear tire starts getting burned up.
Behind Chad Brown there, James Duke, and James Duke is actually a lap down. He might even be a couple laps down. He was involved in that pre-race between Mike Stevens. Saw Rusty Webb there get really loose. I'm guessing the looseness is coming out of 2.
Yeah, you get on that bump coming off there and gets away from you, I guess, a little bit.
Let's see, is Mike Stevens still here? Can we drag him up here?
Well, let me get him up here.
Mike, you got a copy? Looks like some technical difficulties with Mike Stevens. Trying to get his word on what happened before the race. Said his wheel died.
Oh, Mike tries to do get that sorted out. Looks like we're still just single file. Everybody kind of feeling the car out, which is probably a good call when it's like this.
Yeah, the field seems to be strung out quite a bit. You have this battle with Chad Brown and James Duke. James Duke is on about 2 laps fresher tires, and look at the difference. James Duke has damage, and 2 laps speeds you up just a bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's nice about iRacing compared to real NASCAR. Tires actually make a difference here. You get to a 1.5 mile track. I really like that.
Not too sure the length of the race on Sunday, but a 50-lap race here, it's quick, but it gives you an idea on what the car is going to be like for Sunday's race. And right now, it seems like it's pretty spread out. Except for the lead here, I think Todd Smith is going to have some company with Thomas Morris and Luis Samosa.
Yeah, and these guys are definitely fighting. You look back here and what we're looking at in the middle of the pack, and you can see it right there.
Here comes Morris on the outside. Todd Smith lets him go by. Now, Richard, is that Todd burning up his tires early in the race?
Or it could be the other way. It could be trying to just keep the car underneath him, put down nice steady laps. You never really know. I guess we'll see how it plays out over about the next 10 laps, see how that gap looks.
Right now, the first 3 cars are separated by under half a second. Then you go back to Trey Landry at 1.4 seconds. Drew Eisman 2 seconds back. Go all the way back to 10th place Jared Dixon. He's 6 seconds off the pack. So 10 laps in the race, the field does seem to be pretty spread out, except for the top 3.
And I'm sure some of these guys towards the back take them more. Might cut up there. Just a more trying to get the car underneath. See how it feels. Probably saving your tires a little bit.
Here comes Luis Samosa. Sorry, Richard, to interrupt you, but Luis down to the inside of Thomas Morris. He'll complete the pass. Morris tries to cut underneath them, see if it works out. Side by side, heading to the line, and Luis Samosa will lead his first lap of the day. I think Luis was just biding his time, sitting there in third, seeing how the competition would set up, and he took it.
Yeah, it looks like it's setting up for a well of a battle up here with these top 3 guys.
And I know there's more people in the DD series than just the 20 guys that we have here, but these 3 guys, they got to be favorites for Charlotte already, unless somebody else surprises us come Sunday that hasn't raced in this practice race. Brandon LaRue off the pace. Brandon was running 13th. Let's see what happened to him. He's down in pit road. He didn't have trouble at the pre-race, did he?
The car looks clean, so maybe he's just trying a little short pit strategy here, make up some time.
Now, we didn't do too much research before the race, but not too sure what a fuel run is, unless he could be short pitting. There's our good buddy Kyle Hanshaw, worked his way all the way up to 8th, and he's in the grass. We talked about Hanshaw one time, and then he messes up.
Kyle taking that Dale Jr. Texas Motor Speedway line through the quad oval.
That didn't work for Junior.
Yeah, didn't work for Junior or Jimmy Johnson. Yeah,
We
I
get-
would think about 35 laps, so a mile and a half, isn't that what we usually got in the B car?
That sounds about right. You got to give credit to Kyle though. He started in 16th, I think, worked his way all the way up to 9th. So let's see what he can do. But I think it's 35 laps on the tank of fuel, somewhere around there, 30 to 35.
And talking about Kyle, he's a semi-newcomer into iRacing compared to a lot of these guys in this league, and he had a real successful season on dirt, which I feel like is as hard as it gets on here. I'm no good at that, and so I expect him to.
So, we got a caution
this.
as he's going towards the inside the infield. Let's see what happened here. Carlos is having a little bit of technical difficulties on his end, but here we go. Gary in turn 3, middle of 4. What happens here, Richard?
Yeah, it almost looks like Gary was trying to give whoever that black and yellow car was catching him a little space, or he's just trying to run the high line a little bit. You know, that car settles hard off 4 here with that little bump. Yeah, it looks like it just got a little squirrely on him.
That's going to be quite a bit of damage for Gary. I'm sure his day is most likely done. He'll be off the pace. Cars coming down pit road. Luis Almosa, the leader, leads him to his pit stall. See if we can get a word here with Kyle while he's pitting. Kyle, you got a copy?
What's up, guys?
Hey man, it was pretty crazy before the start, as well as a lot of action within the first 2 laps. Is the track that loose to where people are a little bit crazy out there?
I think it's just guys are a little impatient. I've been sitting all winter long, but
They got
Yeah.
that cabin fever.
yeah. But what I'm just trying to do is just, keep the car under me and, put down good lap times and just be there at the end. I'm trying to save my tires as well.
This seemed to be paying off, saving tires. We saw Todd Smith, he got up to a big lead, and then Thomas Morris and Luis both caught him.
Yeah, I think it's paying off for me because I passed, I think, 7 or 8 cars just in that little short green flag run. So
Yeah, you started 16th, I think, and you worked your way all the way up to 8th there before the caution came out. So you're doing not too bad. I think right now you run P9, correct?
yep, P9.
All right, man. Well, if you want to come back and talk to us, we'll put you on green if you want to. If not, next caution or the end of the race, we'll radio back to you, man.
Well, I could probably get you guys when I'm on the backstretch.
That'll be it. We got Kyle, Carlos. On the pace laps here, I actually got a tweet from Paul Ross saying, "Where can we watch the broadcast?" And I don't know, Carlos, where can we watch the broadcast? Three Wide YouTube page. So if you go on the Three Wide YouTube page, I should probably tweet that out on the Three Wide TV page. So Richard, while I do that,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give you a rundown on how it looks like they came out of pit road. It looks like they pretty much came out the way they went in. Still your leader, Luis Almosa. Todd Smith in second. Trey Landry is your third place car. And the outside of road 2, looks like we got the 26 car. I'm not 100% sure on all these names yet. As you can see, we don't have all of them up here yet. And then it looks like, and we're still, Carlos telling me we're still working on those graphics a little bit, but as you guys know, we're working this out a little bit as you guys are watching. And we got 6 weeks to try to fine tune this a little bit, get it right.
All right, the link is up in the tweet, in the Twitter, 3Wide TV, at 3Wide TV, the letter 3, THREE, 3Wide TV. So if you want to look at the video, if you want to watch us, see how we're doing. I don't know how good we are and how bad we are, but I think the expectations are pretty low for us. The pace car is getting ready to roll off. Luis Salmosa, the leader, with Todd Smith in second, Trey Landry in third. Nice paint scheme by Trey Landry. That Jameson, is it Jameson whiskey, Richard?
Yeah, Jameson Scotch whiskey, I guess. Good Irish stuff.
Luis jumps out to a pretty big lead on this restart. He got an awesome restart as Todd Smith's fighting on the outside with Trey. Todd will take it, and we saw Todd at the beginning of last run kind of break himself away from the lead. He had about a half a second lead, but his tires started going away. Let's see if he does the same approach here with 30 laps to go.
It doesn't look like Todd Smith's taking his time, trying to make some time here. Start running back down our leader there.
Well, another thing, this is a practice race, so you can pretty much you can experiment with however you want to do for Sunday's race. Sunday's race, points race. You come back and join us Sunday. Race starts at, I think, normal 3Wide time, 10:15 Eastern time. On 3Wide TV, all the links will be posted. We'll be a little bit better at this. This is our first time doing this, so
yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to look at all these screens at one time.
Going dizzy?
It's not the same as racing. Racing's easier than this, I think.
I knew it would be pretty difficult, but I mean, it's going to be a blast for 6 races. And what's cool about this series is there's no playoffs. It's just a 6-race series. And with this many guys, I don't think you can make a mistake in one race, can you?
No, I mean, I feel like we've seen it now. The guys in the series, they just keep hammering home first, second, third place finishes week after week, and they don't really get themselves in trouble. That's what you're pretty much getting to expect in this series at this point.
So one DNF, one bad race, and you're pretty much done. With only being 6 races, it's going to be close. But this isn't all the drivers. We still have, I think, 17 more drivers left that didn't do the practice session. So we'll get the full feel of it come Sunday, right back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I think Sunday ought to be exciting. We get 28, 30 cars on this loose, hot track. That'll be pretty interesting.
I think when Corey originally had this planned, I think his goal was maybe 15 to 20. I don't think he had 35 in mind.
I definitely think he underestimated how well he's done in growing this league. Word of mouth, obviously, has spread far and wide for people to come race with us. Very well organized league.
I'm not going to be biased about my team, JTR, but I will be biased about 3Wide Racing. I think it's one of the best racing leagues, and it by far the best fixed racing league out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Corey's second to none, and just organization, and you always know what you're getting. The competition's getting ridiculous almost at this point. And everybody, even the back markers, are getting better, and it's turning into a real solid league where you got to race real hard every week.
The cool thing that we forgot to mention, with this being halfway, a thing that 3Wide Racing is doing this year is giving out halfway bonus points to, I think, the top 5 guys. And as you saw in the real life NASCAR with the stages, bonus points really played a pretty big factor when it came to people getting into the playoffs and people winning the championship. So we'll see how that works out. Bonus points at halfway, and really right now, if you look at it, if this was a points-paying race, it'd be Luis, Todd Smith, Trey Landry, Thomas Morris, and Drew Eisenman getting them 5 points.
Yeah, as we've seen the last couple seasons, it's a real scrap when you get down to the end of the regular season. Every point matters, trying to get into that top 10 or top 12, depending on what series you're in.
We see on the TV here, it's Drew Eisenman. He's our top 5 guy. And here's the race summary. If I can see it, I can't really read it. I think laps completed 28. Laps remaining 28. The picture is so small I can't even see it. I just know we have 1 caution for 4 laps and 2 lead changes.
I think
Carlos
you nailed
needs
it.
to make that a little bit bigger. It's Todd Smith. I mean, it's been about 10 laps since we went back to green, and his tires haven't shown as much give right now as he's battling Luis for the lead right now.
Yeah, Luis and Todd, looks like neither one of them's taking a lap off. This is hard racing right here up front. These guys dueling.
This could play advantage for Trey, though. He's sitting right back there, as you saw at the beginning of the race when Luis kind of sat back there in third. Trey's sitting back there kind of watching the show right now. Let's see if he can get back up there.
I would expect, yeah, Trey's probably just getting a ride. Maybe not quite as fast as these guys, but probably taking care of his stuff. And you would think that here in a few laps, it looks like he's already kind of trying to pull up on these guys a little bit.
And I didn't have any really expectations, high or low, for Trey and Thomas. But they're showing that they can race too. Not only can they broadcast, we got a pass for the lead. Todd Smith underneath Luis Salmosa. Luis will beat him off here with momentum coming off the high lane. But like I was saying, Thomas and Trey being third and fourth, they got some racing skills too.
Oh, no doubt, yeah. They're here to impress. Looks like that they're going to be tough competition. Luis. Probably down running here in the driver development series.
So right now, as you can see, Todd Smith right on the back of Luis Salmosa, putting the pressure on Luis. Todd takes that real high lane going into 1, arcs it down coming out of 2. That diamond-like line that I personally love.
Yeah, you can definitely see this setup making Charlotte a little bit of a different track at night. It's definitely not just left sides on the white line, weight on the throttle. This is driving for sure.
Just completed lap 33 out of 50. This is a short race, just a practice race. We wanted to see what it was like to get out there for 50 laps. Also, we wanted to test our kind of technology out with 3-Wide TV, and so far I think it's going pretty good.
I think we're doing okay for a bunch of rookies.
I say we dial up Hanshaw on green flag.
Yeah, let's get old Kyle in here.
Hanshaw,
What's happening?
how's the track under there? Green flag conditions, by the way, this is the green flag, folks. Hanshaw talking to us under green.
It's a little crazy right now. Got one hand on the wheel and my left hand on the space bar.
All right, we'll ride around with you for 1 lap, see how it goes, see how it looks. Right now, you're just behind Rusty Webb in the 9th position.
Track's definitely really loose. I think I used up a lot of my tires already.
All right, man, we'll let you go before you crash that thing.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Hanshaw. That's going to be a lot of fun, Richard, having Hanshaw come in whenever
Oh, we got a
he
wreck.
kind of feels like it. Oh, Hanshaw reports we got a crash. Crash on the backstretch. Car spinning, and it's the 23 car.
It looks like Joshua Personette himself into the inside wall. Probably got a little loose
Personette.
off.
Josh is one of the rookies in 3-Wide Racing. Sunday will be his first ever start in 3-Wide. We're going to see a replay here. I'm guessing he just got loose off of 2.
Joshua making his first start for Rebel Racing. Been around for a couple seasons. Yeah, looks like the thing just got a little squirrely on there.
And he got squirrely off of 2 and then finally lost it almost about halfway down the back straightaway. It's kind of an odd wreck. Looks like he tried to overcorrect it and then just hit the inside wall. And that'll do it.
I don't know if he was maybe trying to make a little pull up there in front of Chad Brown or what, but yeah, he took it away from him. Obviously, he's super good and slick.
And that's another thing. We have no caution, and iRacing's pretty good about that. When cars wreck into the inside, when nobody's involved except the one car wreck, they tend to not throw the caution.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a parameter they've adjusted here over the last season and a half. It seems like it's a lot less sensitive now to a caution flag.
There's a 60 car around. Looks like he'll hit the inside wall too. That's the 60 car of Jared Dixon. Jared was running 11th actually. And he gets loose off too. So the longer you go, the looser you get off of turn 2, it looks like.
Yeah, these guys definitely going to have to let these things get underneath them.
And now we got only 10 cars in the lead lap. And surprising, Richard Hines all the way back in 10th. He's the last car in the lead lap. I thought Richard would at least be closer to the top 5, but maybe he's just trying to get the feel of things. Maybe he hasn't been in the car since we left Homestead in the Cup Series.
Yeah, Richard's just kind of a slow and steady, wins the race kind of guy. I feel like he's always the guy that gets to take advantage of when other people make mistakes, when they overdrive the car. In 50 laps, he's not going to get to take too much advantage of that. He's always around at the end, it seems like.
As we just completed lap 40, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-car race. It's going to be Luis and Todd Smith battling out for the win. Drew Eisman has gotten up to 3rd, only a second back, so he might play a factor here when we reach the checkered flag.
Yeah, this has been quite a duel up front. These guys have been matching lap time for 25 straight laps now.
What I'm loving, and I don't see this that often in iRacing, is the multiple grooves. Luis is running that middle groove, and Todd running that pretty high groove if you consider that for iRacing. I think that's pretty high.
Yeah, that's pretty high at Charlotte. These guys are definitely all kind of different lines. That's about the same speed.
Now, if we ran here at night, it'd be the same line. It'd be hard to pass. People pretty down at the bottom. Tires wouldn't wear that much, so kind of happy that this race Sunday
I think in real life it's much better racing here during the day when the track's a little slicker. You gotta drive it a little more.
Luis seems to be holding him off quite a bit. I think he's starting to pull away just a little bit. He's got about a 3/10 of a second lead. Drew Eisman hasn't gained that much. He's still about a second back. And is Eisman eligible for this series, Richard? I'm not too sure.
Drew's not on the preseason roster, but I don't think he can run in this series because nobody that finished in the top 3 can run in this series, right? Didn't he finish in the top 3 in Cup?
Okay, so yeah, the tops. That's another thing we didn't mention. Top 5 cannot run in this league if you finish top 5. We have a caution on lap 43. It's the 29 car of Brandon LaRue. And I mean, how about this, Richard? Our first time out. Looks like we're going to get a little 3-lap shootout.
That changes everything.
You quoting Daryl?
Daryl, he's a poet. He's a 21st century poet.
Here's the replay, folks. Brandon LaRue, I'm guessing he's just going to get loose like everybody else has. Yes, he does. Loose, overcorrects it, and spins. I'm kind of surprised that put out the caution. Oh, right there. He goes out on the track, I think. That's what did it.
Not a bad piece of driving there, even. Well, he ruined it a little bit there at the end, but not bad to keep that thing clean. Will Jimmy Johnson spin out?
We'll give him about a 7.
Yeah, he could have got an 8 or a 9 there, but didn't spin it again at the end there.
One spin, everybody knows the rules.
A little Barstool shout out from our boy Johnny Thomas. And, yeah, you can see to get that
Here's
sideways.
the last
like
pit stops of the day.
We all know how that
Luis
feels.
can beat everybody off pit road. He'll do that easily. Luis first off. It looks like the 40 car is going to come out second. Trey Landry. Although you kind of really don't want to be on that outside lane there coming to the restart. It seems like the bottom lane is the key lane.
Yeah, he's gonna have to dig deeper, try to do something with that outside lane. That was a good pit stop for him. If everybody took 4 there, which I feel like it'd be crazy not to, that was a pretty solid pit stop for the 40 car.
Our producer saying that we had a couple people stay out. We'll see when they cross the line. And that's my bad. I think that's Drew Eisenman that came out behind Luis, so it is not Trey Landry. As Thomas Morris is staying out, and I tell you what, this does not benefit Luis. It's got to help Drew.
Yeah. This is going to get squirrely for sure on the restart here, because you know Thomas isn't going to be able to get hard into it.
You got Luis on the bad lane, the outside lane, but you also got fresh tires for Luis. Thomas Morris has quite a bit of laps on his tires. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't pit, but hey, it's just a practice race, and you can pretty much do whatever you want here. The big show Sunday. Trey Landry is actually ninth. I don't know what I was looking at, or if my trading paints was messed up, but Landry's ninth.
Thomas Morris obviously looking for that always expected end of the race shootout caution.
Looking like the race is going to resume with about 3 laps to go. As we hit the 4 laps to go signal right now. Well, I think our first race has been fun. We're going to see a little bit more excitement here, but like I said earlier, if you want to watch more of the 3-Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series, come back Sunday at 10:15 and watch this all over again at Charlotte Motor Speedway with not just 17 guys, but around 35 guys to battle it out here Sunday.
Yeah, it ought to be exciting. Just as much looseness and twice as many cars.
And this is it. This is for all marbles here, Richard. 3 laps to go. Thomas Morris on extremely old tires.
Thomas Morris,
Up to second.
kamikaze move to try to
Here
win
we go. Off of turn 4, the pace car down. 3 laps to go. Morris gets sideways and saves it as Luis Salmosa pulls ahead.
I think we all saw that coming, but he did a good job of not wrecking the field
Good
there.
job of Drew staying off him as well. As look who came up into second spot. The benefactor of all that, Rusty Webb up to second.
Yeah,
Thomas Morris falls way back.
We talked about Rusty earlier in the night, and look at him, second place here towards the end. I don't think I'll have anything for Luis, but that's a nice run for him.
Great run for Rusty. 2 laps to go. Luis Salmosa, 2 more clean laps, and he'll win this practice race. Carry a little bit of momentum into Sunday, and also for the rest of the 3-Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series.
Luis Salmosa, of course, a free agent signing for 3OG Racing this year. And looks like that's working out for them so far.
That was probably the biggest news of the offseason. We'll talk more about that later on, but Luis Salmosa signing with, like I said, joining Paul Ross's team. The white flag's in the air. Luis Salmosa coming out of turn 2. Nobody really contending with him. Rusty Webb still in second with Drew Eisman in third. And well, Richard, it looks like Luis is going to have himself a day today. He's led quite a bit of laps coming off of turn 4. And that's it, folks. Luis Salmosa, your winner, Charlotte.
Yeah, made it look easy there at the end, but he definitely had to work for it through the middle and last three-quarter part of that race.
I want to thank Thomas Morris for making it a little bit exciting. That restart was a little sketchy, but he saved it. It was a good job by Thomas.
Yeah,
Where did
like
Thomas end up? I think Thomas all the way back to ninth, so the no tire strategy wasn't the best. Now we should probably do some interviews, shouldn't we?
I would think maybe we need to get a couple of these guys in here, see what they think about what happened there.
Couple surprises. Remember, I talked about Richard Hines in the top 10, and you're right, Richard. He came all the way back up to finishing 5th.
Richard Hines, like the Energizer Bunny, he's pounding away at that drum, and at the end of the race, you'll always find him there, 5th, 6th, 7th, with a clean car usually.
So let's do this here. We'll normally do the first, second, third drivers. Drew, obviously ineligible for this series, so we're going to give Chad Brown a little bit of love and bring him up to the broadcast booth. You want to do this interview, Richard?
Sure. And Chad, Richard Lafferty with 3Y TV. Howdy, copy.
Hey, I hear you.
Hey, not a bad run. How do you feel about how that race went for you?
Well, I had a pretty rough pit stop there at the end, so I was pretty happy to be able to weave through that nonsense there on the last restart and get back up into 4th. Overall, not a bad race. Not bad for a Thursday night for a practice race for sure.
No, not a bad race for that team. I guess Todd Smith is a member of your team as well. He's part of PPG.
I think he's running his own team, but we are affiliated, and we brought on some other team members this year, so definitely looking to expand and improve this season.
What was your strategy once that race got playing out? I'm sure you knew in practice the car was going to be loose. So did you just try to keep it underneath of you, take care of it?
I'm generally pretty conservative, so I just kind of let the race play out and see what happens. Try to hold position and defend. I don't really try to get too aggressive. I expected a little bit more cautions because of the way the car drove. So, kudos to everybody for that.
Okay. A good run. Looking forward to a good season. Good job.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And that's Chad Brown. Chad Brown's been racing with us for a little while now, and it's good to see him have a couple good runs. Let's say, is Drew in here? We can interview Drew. He got 3rd. He deserves an interview. Drew, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Drew, you're not eligible for this series, but you could always use more practice, and the track was a little bit loose out there. How was it for you?
I loved it. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm sure you guys could see it, especially on that restart. It was literally impossible for the rear tires to just do what they were supposed to do and push the car forward. They just tended to spin no matter how fast you were going or how much load you had on the car. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, you're especially right before the caution, you'd essentially just turn into the corner, counter steer through the corner and just use the gas to kind of turn the car. You weren't really turning the wheel very much. It was a lot of fun.
We saw Thomas get a little bit loose there, and you did an amazing job staying off of him. Were you kind of anticipating that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought, it would have been a remarkable job for Thomas to not spin his tires staying out like that. I was just hoping he would spin them and kind of wiggle out of my way, and that's why I was kind of just off center of him, just so I wouldn't run him over. And then he spun a little bit, and then he went, and then he spun him a lot. I could tell as he was feeding the gas to the car. And then once that happened, what if I keep in the gas? I'm just gonna wreck all of us. So let off. I actually did touch him a little bit, but it's restarts. Those deals happen.
Yeah, it certainly was a crazy restart. Like we said, you're not eligible for the series. What are you most looking forward to for this series and watching these guys race?
Scouting, man. Always looking for new drivers. If something happens where I can't race this season or one of my guys can't, something comes up, then we're always looking for talent out there to potentially fill one of our seats. We probably have a truck ride open right now, maybe a Triple Crown ride. So always looking to see who the next big guy coming into the series will be.
All right, Drew. Well, we're gonna go ahead and interview Luis, the winner. Have a good rest of your off season, and we'll see you at Daytona here in just a couple months.
Yep. Thanks, Johnny. Tell Luis I said congratulations.
All right, 10-4, Drew. Rusty Webb, is he in here? I didn't see him in the chat. I don't think Rusty's here, so we're going to interview our race winner, Luis Salmosa. Richard, you down there in Victory Lane? Did you hop out of the booth?
Trying to get Luis up here in the chat with us, so we can have a little chat with him. And Luis, you got a copy on Through TV?
10-4, boss.
Hey, that was a pretty nice run there. Looks like you guys were driving the car real hard there for a little while. Had a nice battle with the 19 car there for a while. How'd you feel about the race?
It was a good first impression of how this car will feel during the development series and under these new conditions that iRacing has presented to us. A lot tougher to drive, a lot more. You really need to work your butt off to control these things. This was super loose all the way around, and the more you ran, the tires were completely gone, and you're just skating out there. So it was fun. It was really, really, really fun to drive around, making sure that you're not hitting the wall, because if you did, guys coming behind you, it would be a complete crash fest. So it was fun. It was a really, really good experiment.
Yeah, and when you went into that long run there, about lap 15, what were your thoughts on trying to save anything, or were you just going to drive the car as hard as you could for as long as you could, and then just see how it played out as the run went on? Because it looked like you and the 19 car weren't giving any of it back.
The very first run, I was just taking it easy, not trying to do anything. Had a couple of guys in front of me, so I was just taking advantage of the draft and just saving everything that I could. About 10 laps, started to make my way up and started to get a little bit more comfortable. When we restarted after we pitted, I said, you know what, let me just push for 3 or 4 laps just to see what happens to the tires, because I didn't know. And right after that, I started to save back like I was, because I thought we were going green all the way to the end. That was my thought process. Like, the longer we run, the more comfortable I was. And even though it was getting harder and harder to drive, the car was still was not completely loose, completely out of control, which was good. So it was a little bit aggressive and then saving it. And every time I saw, not sure who was behind me over there at that time, he would take he'll take a 10th, I would take the 10th back. I'll take it. So we started to exchange, and I noticed that we were opening up from 3rd and 4th place. So it was just, if he tries anything, I have something here. If he doesn't, we're just gonna ride this thing out. So we were pretty even. It was just fun, the back and forth, to see who would make a mistake or who would try to be a little bit more aggressive first.
Yeah, definitely looked like you were walking that fine line between aggressive and out of control there. What were your thoughts going into that final restart when the 26 car of Thomas Morris decided to stay out? What were your thoughts there?
Yeah, we were going back and forth on the chat, like, do we pit, do we stay out, do we pit, do we stay out? So, even though this is the practice and the first time, let's treat this like a normal race, points, the whole thing, and let's play it safe. If we do restart, awesome. Like, we're gonna have a couple of laps and we're gonna be so much better on tires that's not even going to be funny. We can just drive by everybody that stay out on the outside and make those positions back. If there's a problem on the restart, that's going to be fast. So no matter what happens, that's going to be out of our control. And if someone spins the tire, we didn't know how many cars were stayed out and ended up just being the 26. We were talking like there's absolutely no way that he can put the gas the way that he wants. So he will lose time on the restart. And I saw my new teammate Rusty right behind me on the restart. I said, dude, if he spins his tires, just get your foot on the gas and we can cut through the outside and just try to drive away as fast as we can. And luckily that's what happened. So he spun his tires. He was even saying like, don't even try this again. It was completely out of control. And it was lucky. We were right call, the right time with the right result. So a good, really good first step for a new team, new teammates. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be one hell of a series to watch.
Yeah, definitely. The whole last restart played out exactly like you thought. And yeah, it seems like there's a lot of new talent here between the 19 car and our two broadcaster buddies coming down onto the track. And nice run there for Rusty that you mentioned. We're going to try to get him an interview, but he's not in TeamSpeak. So tell him we're looking out for him. And congratulations on the win. And I guess this will build a little momentum going into the season next week.
Well, I guess that's it from Luis.
Oh, you got me here? Oh, sorry. Thanks again, guys, for everything. Sorry, my mic was not working. I was speaking with Russ a little bit behind, a while ago, and he was dealing with a little bit of snow situation in his house, so he had to step out of the cockpit to go deal with a little bit of snow shoveling and snow blowing around his house. So he apologized for not being here. And pretty good start. Hopefully we can duplicate this when it counts on Sunday and start this new series, new season, new team, new teammates, the whole thing with the bang. So thanks again, guys. Thanks for everybody that showed up, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Good job, Luis. We'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Johnny, we pretty much got what we expected when you previewed the race at the beginning there. Pretty much the guys we expected, and then the guys that we expected to hang around and kind of make a run there at the end. It pretty much all worked out the way we thought it would.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with a couple guys. Todd Smith, of course. He ended up finishing 11th, but he's going to be a guy that's going to be around there. It seems like every race. Charlotte is a good track to get a good measure off of, being a mile and a half. Rusty Webb impressed me a lot, but he shouldn't have because he's been a top 5 guy, top 10 guy the last couple of weeks in 2017. And then Luis, we're going to pick our championship guys Sunday, but I feel like he's my pick to win this championship. And there's going to be guys that's going to surprise us every week because we go to mile and a half, we go to short tracks, and then we wrap up the season at Talladega, and that's going to be cool because we wrap up the DD series at Talladega, and it's kind of the start of the speed weeks for us. So that's going to be an awesome 2 weeks right there. The week 6, the final race of the DD series. That's going to be cool. But I mean, all of us are. Race is over. All of us is sitting down and kind of collecting our thoughts. Hanshaw's out of the car. Hanshaw, man, 50 laps. It probably gave you a good read on how the track's going to be and what you think of it.
Yeah, I definitely learned some things tonight, for sure. But track conditions, crazy, crazy loose, hot, slick, but will make for a good race come Sunday.
You ended up P9, correct? Right?
I think P9 or P10. I took 2 tires on that last pit stop because I really didn't have anything to lose, and I was running back there anyways. But just trying to learn some things, and I learned 2 tires is not the answer. So
It seemed like with the tire wear here being so heavy, the track had to have been super hot being in the daytime. So 4 tires is probably going to be the way to go, even if you do get a caution with like 2 or 3 laps on your tires.
Yeah, for sure. Tires is definitely gonna play a factor, and track position really, I don't think will matter all that much.
Well, Richard, that's about it that we got. Should we bring up? Oh, Carlos, our producer, is telling me that we have an exclusive, the exclusive pre-race incident involving Mike Stevens losing. What was he losing? His steering wheel. Doesn't Daryl Waltrip have a song for that? Picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel.
Yeah, that's part of the deal with iRacing, right?
Oh,
That's impressive.
that was not good. Poor 76. I don't know who's driving that 76 car. 76 of James Duke, and James Duke actually rallied back to finish in 7th, so a good run for him. But Stevens just looked like his wheel got disconnected. He hit the outside wall.
Yeah. He went out in blaze of glory there pre-race.
All right, guys. Well, I think our producer is saying that's it. Wrap it up. It was fun for Thursday. And we'll just be getting started here come Sunday at 10:30. The race is at 10:15. Thanks for everybody watching. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Hanshaw, for putting this all together. And we'll be back on Sunday.
Yep, it was enjoyable. Appreciate it, and we'll try to do better next time.
Thanks, everybody.